essentially is your success rate. 95% of the time you're going to give a correct interval. 5% of the time you can give an incorrect interval. Playing the odds here. The confidence interval is a proportion, not a probability. Confidence intervals aren't about probabilities. They are about the proportion of times that you would be correct doing this procedure. Okay? People get that. That's always asked on AP questions. Whoops. It's always asked on the AP exam. Okay? Oh, they have a lot of different ways. You'll see on your homework a few different ways they'll ask us about probabilities. And we'll go through a bunch of the different ways that you can be tricked about this. Okay? And 95%, if I'm 95% confident, 95% of the intervals I could make contain the population parameter, mean, proportion, whatever. Not 95% of the population falls into this interval. 95% of the intervals contain the population parameter. Okay. And so let me go back to one of my pictures here. So if I had a mean here, if I had my mean, let me get a different color here. If I had a mean here, 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 anywhere within 2 standard deviations, the interval I make of 2 standard deviations will contain that population mean. If I instead get a sample mean out here or out here, then the interval I make will not contain that 5. How often do I have sample means outside of 2 standard deviations? 5%. Okay. What proportion of the sample means and the sampling distribution are out here in these tails? 5%. So 5% of the means will give me an interval that won't contain that 5, that number 5. 95% of the means, when I build that interval, they will contain that 5, that population parameter. Yes, sir.